Chapter 11. Mysterious Boy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiongji left the police station. When she was already settled in the car, she called the driver. Let's go to the Guangdong hospital. The driver looked at Xiongji strangely. First police station, now hospital. What next? Cemetery. But the driver had no right to ask his curiosity. He just thought it was strange. Their young miss had no friends. She never left their house for 16 years. That's why he was very curious and thrilled where they were going. When they arrived at the police station, he thought first it was around that area where their young miss would go. That's why he was so shocked when Xiongji entered the police station. He had many wild thoughts. So imagine his horror when he heard Xiongji say that they would go to a hospital. A hospital. Who they were going to visit. Why? Is it connected to the police station matter? The driver gone wild by his imaginations while driving. They arrived at hospital. Xiongji walked to the reception. Can I get the room number where Ms. Xiaoping stay? I am her granddaughter's friends. Xiongji said. Can I get your ID please? Just for confirmation, you can get after you log out later. And please sign this. The receptionist said while handing the log.in record. Xiongji gave another fake ID. It was different from earlier. In this ID, everything was fake. Her name, Bai Qin, her age, 20, etc. Her picture was of course her. After some reminders from the nurse, she finally got the number. She thanked the nurse and went to find the number. For 62C. When she saw the number she entered. What she saw was 4 bed occupied by patients. She looked at the C bed. There in the bed, was an old woman in her 70s. She has ventilator in her mouth. When Xiongji saw this scene, she knew she was not too late yet. She was relieved. She went to the nurse who was currently talking to one of the patients. Excuse me. Can I see the doctor of the patient of C bed? The nurse looked at her. Are you her relative? Dr. Beking is the one in charge. But he was in the VIP area right now. It's emergency. I think my grandmother here need immediate surgery. My cousin said today was her supposed surgery. If not that I'm afraid she is not going to last. Her condition is worsening. Can you please help a life here? Xiongji said, saying the half-truth. It was true, the old woman. Mrs. Xiaoping need a surgery as soon as possible. But not today, the true relative was not here. She could not just decide. The second reason why she need to see the doctor right now because she did not want to waste time. There was many things she needed to do. The nurse gasped. She did not know that it was a life-threatening situation. She looked at the old woman in bed C. The respirator in her mouth. It had been 3 days since the old woman came here. But she was never awake. The nurse got scared. She was a nurse. If she did not do anything and the patient dies because of her carelessness, she would die of guilt. Okay ma'am. Please wait, I will notify Mr. Beeking's assistant. The nurse said trembly. She walked out from the room and ran frantically. Xiongji followed. After her secretly. When the nurse, 1, saw another nurse, 2, pulling a wheelchair with an old man, she called out to her. Mir. The nurse 2 stopped and turned her way to nurse 1. Canner, what is it again? Is another patient looking for Dr. Beking? I told you he was in the VIP right now, not just him, all head doctor in every department together with Director Yang are in the VIP right now. Can you not tell that it is very important? They cannot be disturbed. Mi said impatiently. She was very tired because all the patients and nurses were all asking her the whereabouts of the head doctors. She really regretted that she followed Dr. Beking earlier in the VIP floor. She was the only one who entered the VIP and saw the situation inside, hence, all of them was asking her. Well, she saw a thing and two, but she did not even grasp the situation because Director Yang dismissed her. Thinking the scene she saw earlier, she cannot help but be in daze. Mere. A life is at stake here. You only need to call Dr. Beeking. He has an operation today. Ken said pleadingly. If I disturb them, my life will be at stake here. Maybe it can wait later. It will probably take 2 hours. Mi said. She was afraid she might lose her job if she went to the room. It was only one doctor, there are so many of them. Do they all need all of them? Can could not help but complained. It's VIP, my dear. But I can guess it is more than that. Our hospital favors on VIPs for years. But Director Yang never lead a horde of head doctors to the VIP. It is only 5 doctors at most. But today, all of the heads. He must really a big shot. Mi said with enthusiasm. Who is he? An old man. Maybe a CEO. Ken asked. Mi looked around. She did not see anyone around. She leaned closer to Ken and said. Not an old man. But a very beautiful boy. He is a teenager. When I first saw him I thought I saw an angel. He was very beautiful. Even more than me. Mi said dreamingly. Really? Beautiful than our idol Jianmu. Ken said. She knew that Mi only considered their idol Jianmu as the most beautiful man in the world. She was really curious what would be Mi's answer. Yup. If you saw him he was beautiful than our Jianmu 10 times. Oh. Sorry my husband Jianmu, I'm still loyal to you, I was just attracted by a true beauty. Mi said to air like she was talking to her idol. Ken did not hear the self-proclamation love of Mi to their idol. Jianmu was a celebrity, the number 1 girls want most to be slept with, number 1 in the list of the most gorgeous man's face. In short, there was no one comparable to his looks. And hearing Mi said that the boy in the VIP room was 10 times better than their Jianmu. Ken's eyes sparkled. She could not imagine the boy's looks. She really wanted to have a glimpse of him. She already imagined the beautiful mysterious boy smile sweetly to her. Imagining the scene, she smiled dreamingly like a lunatic. The old man between them almost vomited blood. If he was not paralyzed he would left this place hurriedly. Seeing the 2 nurses immersed in their own world he could not help but cursed. Am I in a mental constitution? These people here were crazy. I want to go home. Unfortunately for him, he could not speak so no one could hear him. Chapter 12. Mysterious Boy, 2, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiong-ji watched their exchange from afar. She could not hear clearly their conversation especially when Mi leaned closer to Can to gossip. Xiong-ji only watched their mouth from afar. From what she could tell, all the doctors were in VIP room. It would probably take 2 hours. Xiong-ji already computing her time if she could manage to visit 2 places today. If it was 2 hours, then she could only wait for tomorrow for her to visit the 2 places. She turned back and was about to go downstairs in waiting area when she suddenly wanted to give a shot and find Dr. Beeking. Maybe he's outside the room. Maybe I could talk to him. Having this decision, she went to the upper floor where the VIP patients reside. She used the stairs because she knew the moment she stepped out of elevator in the VIP floor, security guards would come to her. Since she was going to wait, why not try to find Dr. Beeking first? Maybe her luck would be good. After many floors, she arrived at the VIP floor. As usual, the stairs had signs saying, used by staff only. Please proceed in the VIP entrance to enter. She passed the sign board and quietly walked. She peeked around in the silent hallway. From afar, she could saw 2 bodyguards in every door. In this hallway, It only had 4 doors. So each room was big. Between the 2 doors was another hallway. Since she did not see Dr. Beaking in this hallway, she needed to go to another hallway. But the problem was she had to pass to the 4 bodyguards who was guiding the 2 doors. Xiongji observed them. The guards from the left door talked silently to each other, while the 2 guards from the right room was standing with stern faces. After a while a radio was heard from the guards in each door. After responding, the guards who receive a radio left and went to the other hallway. There was now only 1 guard in each room. The guard in the left room was feeling bored because he was alone. He walked to the right door and chatted with the guard. Xiongji saw this chance. If she run now while they were busy chatting and the room that was nearer in the hallway had no guards, it was possible to go unnoticed. Xiongji did not lose any time and run to the next hallway without giving them a glance. She safely passed the next hallway. She leaned on the wall. Her heart was still beating fast because of the run. Xiongji never did sports. So, it was a challenge for her to run and sneak. Xiongji felt exhilarated. In her last lifetime, she never did this. She remembered a scene in an action movie where the leads was sneaking to get an important file. Xiongji pretended she was a spy. She liked the feeling. Her heart was beating so fast with anticipation. She was clearly enjoying herself. In this hallway there was no guards. But it had CCTV in every pillar. That was strange. There should be guards here. Where are they? Nevertheless, she did not see whom she wanted to see. So she proceeded to another hallway while avoiding CCTV's camera. The next hallway was different. Because the entrance had a glass door. Xiongji had an idea what this hallway for. It was for the VIP among the VIPs. It had probably only had 1 room. She opened it and entered. Since she saw nothing in the hallway, she proceeded to the next hallway. She was just about to turn left to the hallway when she was collided to something. Because of the impact, her butt kissed the ground. She groaned in pain. Sorry. When she heard a soft voice, Xiongji looked up. But she only managed to see his back and his silver hair. The boy was tall and she could guess that he was the same age as her. He was wearing a hospital gown. The boy was running. What she was running from she did not know and did not care to. She stand up, but then she heard distinctive shouts. She saw several guards running in her direction. Shoot! How did they found out? Xiongji was very careful. She even avoided the guards and the cameras. If she was spy, she would be good one. She never intended to get caught in the first place. If she got caught, it would be troublesome. Her identity would be investigated and they would know that her ID was fake. If her identity was found out, the old man surely be displeased. He might break his deal to her. Understanding this, she turned and run. She could still see the silver boy's back and followed him. Because she did not know where to run, he followed the silver boy who seemed familiar with the way. When he turned left, she would turn left. When he entered a small door, she also entered. When he ran upstairs in the fire exit, she also followed. The silver boy did not know that Xiongji was escaping too and following his escape route. He arrived at rooftop and ran towards the railing. He climbed at the top of the railing and stand there. The silver boy opened his arm wide and closed his eyes. It looked like he wanted to jump any moment. Xiongji arrived at the rooftop. Seeing the place, Xiongji cursed inwardly. How she did not notice that they were running upstairs. She should run downstairs. She was about to turn back when she heard a shout. Why do you despise me so much and cursed my fate? Where is the place I should die? At his mansion. At my mother's grave. In my big brother's place. Or here. The man I called father killed my mother. The man I trust wanted me to die. I hate them both. Is my death would give them that satisfaction? If it was, I should rather die while telling their grave sins. The silver boy said with great grievance. Xiong-ji turned and found the boy standing at the top of the railing. His eyes still closed, the wind made his hospital gown fluttered, and his arms were stretched out. Xiong-ji found this scene amusing. It reminded her of declamations she watched when she was a child. When the silver boy did not say anything else, Xiong-ji walked to his side and looked down. This hospital building had 36 floors. Xiong-ji wondered if the silver boy jumped and died, would he felt any pain? Or just a second pain then die? She was truly curious. But still with this height, the body would not make it intact. That'll hurt. Xiong-ji muttered to herself. However, the silver boy heard it clearly and was startled that someone was beside him. Because of his shock, his stand was faltered and his feet slip away. He tried to balance himself to not fall down but failed. When his 2 feet both slip away, the silver boy got really scared. He never felt this terrified and scared before. He was never afraid of height. He always did this. But when he saw he was about to fall he got really terrified at the height. He would surely die. I'm going to die. But he managed to hold on to the railings. His feet was suspended in air. He was using all his strength to hold at the railings. He gritted his teeth. He was really afraid, he was really scared, he was terrified. He almost experienced death. He never thought that he would be afraid so much. If he did not hold on he would be gone now. Thinking he was about to be gone earlier he felt bitter and pained. I thought you want to die. Why you changed your mind? Xiong-ji said nonchalantly with cold voice. But the truth was, Xiong-ji really got scared when he was about to fall. She even ran to his side to hold his hands. She sighed with relief that he managed to hold on to the railings. But her face and tone tell a different story. The silver boy looked up at Xiong-ji. He cannot see her face because of the cap, but he could hear her cold voice. How could a girl be so heartless? She can stand seeing me die here. Then he remembered that he has a father who could kill anyone, even his blood relative, for power, and a brother who would betray his younger brother and poison him to death to just eliminate a future rival. He felt a bitter taste in his mouth. This world and the people who lived in were ruthless. When his brain registered Xiong-ji's words he laughed. This laughter contained his bitterness, his pain, his hopelessness, his hatred. That's right, how many times he attempted to suicide. He wanted to die, he always did. That's why he did not stop drinking the poison his brother gave him. He had already gave up his life. But when he almost experienced death earlier, he had only one thought. He wanted to live. Chapter 13. Mysterious Boy, 3, you are listening at novelfull.audio. When the boy laughed, Xiong-ji had a chance to observe the boy. He looked like he was mixed, but the foreign blood stand out more. His silver long fine white hair reached at the nape of his neck, some were long enough to cover his eyes and forehead. His thin brow was also silver that aligned perfectly. He had high bridge nose, had pale full lips that if it was red it would noticeable. He had smooth perfect jaw. His skin was pale and translucent. Even he was suffering by holding the railings in one hand, it did not lessen his beauty. But what captured Xiong-ji's attention the most was his eyes. It was also silver with a little tinge of gray or blue. She was not sure. But that beautiful eyes seemed to tell a very sad story. It was dull, empty, and no brilliance. If it had some sparkle in it, this boy would surely look like a deity. With the sun shining at him, he looked like a fallen angel. He was truly beautiful. But this beautiful boy wanted to throw his life. Xiong-ji knew that if he was saved today there was no guarantee that he would do it in the future. It must be uprooted so that this thing would never happen again. Why don't you let go? If you die today you would not need to face those suffering anymore. Xiong-ji taunted. Even she said those words her intentions was to make this boy realize that death was not a solution. He must let go of his suppressed emotions. He, a beautiful child, wanted to throw his life away. It would be a pity. She clearly saw earlier his terrified face when he was about to fall. She saw how he wanted to hold the railing desperately. It clearly showed that he did not want to die. He wanted to hold on. But Xiong-ji for the first time miscalculated. She did not know that her words that should wake him up would be adding to the reasons why he should die instead. When he heard those words he stilled. She's right. So what if I wanted to live? I will die anyway. I will suffer more. How could he survive against their scheme? How can he win against his father's power and authority? No one would believe he killed his mother. He tried it before but they just locked him in a mental hospital. How could he win against his brother's scheme? His brother was trusted and loved by many, unlike him. If he tell the word what they had done, they would believe them rather than him. He clenched his teeth. No matter what he do, they would not believe him even he had many evidence. He let go of the hold in one of his hands and reached a paper in his pocket. It was his suicide letter. He had also written his father's and brother's crime. Also the evidence and where they would find them. He wanted to expose their crimes with his death. If he died, the media and police would discover his letter in his body. They would investigate it. Hopefully, their crimes would not escape in public's eyes. With this thought in his mind, he was a little bit relieved. At least, he could do something with his death. His other hand gripped tightly at the paper. He would not let go of this paper until it was in good hands. He looked up at the girl whom he could not see clearly. He did not notice that he was crying. Xiong-ji saw the beautiful boy, silent tears. The look in his eyes was telling her that he was reluctant, helpless, dejected and had no will to live. She suddenly had a bad premonition. Don't tell me. The boy closed his eyes while tears was pouring out silently. He felt the sun shine on him, the strong cool wind seemed to whisper to him. He at least wanted to feel the nature before he die. Then he let go of his hold on the railings. Xiong-ji's eyes widened. She frantically reached out her hands. The strong cool wind blew off her cap exposing her long black hair. It danced wildly with the wind. Xiong-ji's half-body was leaning out in the railings. She sighed in relief when she managed to hold his hand. But then it quickly dissipated because she was very angry at this idiot. You fool. What are you thinking? You really want to throw your life? Xiong-ji was very mad and scared at the same time. If she did not manage to hold his hand she might be looking at his dismantled corpse right now. Thinking this she broke out in cold sweat. The boy was waiting for the pain after the impact but he suddenly felt a warm soft hand hold his thin pale hands. When he heard her words he looked up. He was startled at the scene in front of him. Without the cap, the girl's face was exposed to him. She had a breathtaking beauty. Her shiny long black hair was carried by the wind, her brows was furrowed and she seemed pissed. Her black orbs was looking at him directly. It was full of life, shining brilliantly unlike his who were empty and dull. Then he looked at their hands. Hers was holding tightly his. He looked at the girl again with a confused expression. Why save me? Didn't you say it was better for me to die? Let go. The girl looked pissed more. She opened her cherry full lips. Idiot. If you want to die, then die but not in front of me. How can I live for the rest of my life experiencing such a trauma? Do you want to ruin this woman's life too? Xiong said loudly and coldly. She could not believe there was a foolish person more foolish than him. She thought he got scared earlier and wanted to live. She thought he changed his mind that he did. But changed his mind again. He was worse than a girl suffering from a period. The boy was startled. That was her reason. He felt bitter and he did not know why. Then close your eyes and let me go. The boy said stubbornly. Xiongji felt she wanted to kill a certain person. Xiongji really treasured her life. Because it was her second chance to make everything right. If it was her first, she would not even blink if someone killed themselves in front of her. Simply, because she did not care. She was empty, had breath with no meaning, like mindless doll. She kinda felt what this boy felt right now. He must have felt alone. With that thought, her angry mind calmed down and tried to persuade this boy. She, who was given a second chance, did not want to witness a boy so young wasted his only life. He had never seen and enjoy this life. Don't you have any more reason to live? Or someone you want to live life with? Xiongji asked, adding her thoughts silently. The boy looked at her eyes. Xiongji could not stand the look in his eyes. Sadness. Extreme sadness. It tells her one thing. He was alone. He had nothing nor someone to live his life with. He had no reason to live. He already gave up his life. What did he suffer to have those look in his eyes? Alone. She could not help but felt a connection in her heart. She felt like she was looking at herself. She had also no one. She was alone in her world. No ambitions, no dreams, nothing. She felt nothing all the time. Until Lin Feng came. He became her light in her dark life. Made her feel. Made her to want something. Made her to dream. Made her a reason to live. She looked at the boy, the feeling of helplessness and loneliness was not foreign to her. Before she could stop herself she heard herself say, I don't have a friend. Will you become my first? The boy was startled. He could not believe that the girl would ask him to be her friend in this situation. But the look in the girl's eyes were sincere, not a trace of pity he expected. It was like the girl was looking at his heart, asking his whole being. A friend. He had no friends. But he knew what friend means. He heard some maid before that she had a friend that she can borrow money from. A person you can run into if you have trouble. A person who you can share your burdens with. A person who will help you in tough times. A person you can celebrate with. A person who stays close in your heart. Those thoughts were too beautiful for him. Xiongji's palm was sweating. She could not hold it anymore. Anytime she could lose her hold. She was already using her two hands. While the boy was still in daze because of her words, Xiongji used this chance to pull him up with all her strength. It was good that the boy was thin. The boy did not struggle. When they finally at the safe ground, Xiongji breathed heavily. Her back was full of sweat. She reprimanded herself to have some exercise. She looked at the boy, her face was cold. She was about to nag him when she was suddenly enveloped by jade-thin arms. Xiongji was startled. Hey, are you alright? That. She was cut off when she felt him hugging her tighter. That hurt. She added. She forgot what she was going to tell earlier. This boy was killing her. She could not breathe. She pushed him with all her strength, but her arms were weak because of holding him earlier. When the boy was satisfied by the hug, he looked at Xiongji. You saved me today, and you made me your friend. You have to be responsible. He said seriously. Xiongji looked at him strangely. What, responsible? Xiongji seemed to forgot that she just asked him to become his friend. She did not know because of today's events her life would be tied to this boy, or to say accurately, this boy tied his life to Xiongji. What is your na? The boy started but was cut off by the loud sound of door opening. Several men in black suits entered and approached them. Xiongji recognized some of them. They were the guards who left earlier. Shutut. I totally forgot about them. Trouble. The boy also saw them. His face darkened and he took a step away from Xiongji. Xiongji noticed it and felt something was fishy. Young master, we're looking for you. You made us worried, your session has already started. The doctors are all waiting for you. One of the men suited in black came forward and held the boy's arm. This man was different from the other men. In his suit there was a golden pin in circular shaped. There was a letter L in the middle. When he said those words a tinge of mockery could be traced. There was no politeness in his words and actions. He boldly held the boy's arm like he was capturing a criminal. Let me guide you to your room. Then he stopped talking to the boy when he saw Xiongji. It was a good thing that Xiongji had quick reaction and reflexive. She already picked up her cap when they were walking towards them and then put them on. She hugged the jacket she was wearing tightly. She kept a cold face even though they could not see it clearly. But her heart was ready to jump out of her ribcage. She was nervous. And this is. The man looked at Xiongji then to the boy before looking at Xiongji again. I don't know. Why don't you ask her? She is already here when I came to have fresh air, the boy said without ripple of any emotion. The man seemed to not believe it. He was about to ask Xiongji when the boy started walking towards the door. He did not even look back. Of course Xiongji understood what was happening. When the man still did not move and had no intention to let go of her. She took her phone and pretended she was talking to someone. Father, I'm sorry I did not answer your call earlier. There was no signal at the hospital. Yeah. No, I'm still here. At the rooftop. You're downstairs, okay? Xiongji nodded at the man and walked towards the exit. She was still on the phone pretending to listen on the other side. How's mom? I bought some food today. Did you bring Jackie that who are with you? Xiongji's voice was fainting as she walked downstairs. The man that she just escaped from had a dark expression. He did not manage to get her name. He was still suspicious of her. What if she was in media? Or someone that Brat hired? He picked up his phone and dialed a number. Hello. A woman's voice was heard. Investigate and get the information about the girl who was wearing a cap, black jacket and running shoes. She was heading downstairs. Now. He ended the call. It seemed like he had something to report. Chapter 14. Mysterious Boy, 4, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiongji run downstairs. When she was out of VIP floor. She let out a sigh of relief. She sat one of the chairs in the waiting area. Her heart beating so fast. She felt nervous but excited at the same time. These feelings were all strange for her but she liked it. She experienced many things today. She sneaked, run, being pursued, been a part of suicide drama. In the end she realized she had a talent in acting. Well, except she still had her cold face. She was thankful that whenever she was bored, which was all the time, she watched any shows. That, someone called I Should Go, escape route was derived from those dramas. She just applied it to escape from that man inquiries. All in all she would engrave these memories in her mind. One of her most exciting day. She calmed herself and rest. She returned to her usual demeanor with a cold look and indifferent face. Her "do not approach me" mode was turned on. It seemed like the happenings earlier were all illusion. She even forgotten that she merely witnessed a suicide act. She waited for Dr. Beking while staring at her notes. Xiao Mei Guangdong Hospital. Mrs. Xiao Ping Zongyang Law Firm. Ms. Bivia Chong Quangpan Police. Her goal was to finish the deal today. But it was already afternoon, the doctor still not here. Xiongji looked around. She observed her surroundings. Then she heard footsteps that came from a large group. She saw a group of doctors. The nurses quickly approached them and talked to the other doctors. The group dissipated with each nurse and went to different directions. Then she saw the nurse called me approach the youngest doctor. It seemed like the nurses were all assistants of these doctors. Guessing that the young doctor that nursed me approached was Dr. Beeking, she blocked their way and greeted them. "Excuse me, are you Dr. Beeking? I'm a relative of Mrs. Xiaoping, the patient 462C bed." I'm glad you're here. Mrs. Xiao's illness is getting worse as time passed. Can we go to my office and discuss the things there? I want you to see something. Dr. Beeking said. Yes, thank you. Xiongji followed them until they reached a certain room. Dr. Gregory Beeking's name was written in the door. They entered the room and Dr. Beeking gestured to Xiongji to sit. After Xiongji settled on the couch, Mi came with 2 teacups. The aroma of green tea tickled her nostrils. But she did not glance to it. She directly went to business. "Dr. Beeking, thank you for care to my grandmother in the past few days. I wanted to know her current condition." "Yes, Ms. Xiao. Mrs. Ping was unconscious when she was brought here. Actually, I was worried because no one visit her. We cannot undergo some tests and procedures without the patient and her family's permission. But I really become worried since she was having a symptoms of COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So I have done some tests even without your knowing. But I did not regret it. I'm actually thankful, because if I was a little late, her illness will only consider as exhaustion and stress because of her old body. But after I have done the tests, the scan here tells that Mrs. Xiao has COPD. Then, he turned on a flat screen. After he typed Xiaoping, an X-ray of lungs could be seen. This is the result of her X-ray. As you can see, her lungs on the left, the air tubes and alveoli, air sacs where gas exchange take place, lose their elasticity and are unable to stretch when she breathes. The walls that lie between the alveoli get destroyed. The lining of the air tubes becomes thick and inflamed. The air tubes secrete more mucus than they should, causing them to clog. COPD has different types and Mrs. Xiao has chronic bronchitis. Her airways are chronically inflamed, resulting in scarring and thickening. This process also frequently causes an increased production of mucus, which then fills the airways, further obstructing her breathing. Dr. Beeking said while tapping and pointing at the screen. He clicked his mouse and another picture appeared. Airflow limitation in COPD is progressive, meaning it generally worsens over time. COPD is often asymptomatic, without symptoms, until significant damage to the lungs has already occurred. Can I know how long Mrs. Xiao showed symptoms like coughing coherently and has yellow or green plewghm? Or having her nails showed a tinge of blue? Dr. Beeking asked. I was suddenly speechless. How could I know? It was about health, a life at risk, so she could not lie. Actually, I did not live that long in Mrs. Xiaoping's house. It has only been about 3 days. Xiongji lied, crossing her fingernails behind her back. Is that so? Well, Ms. Xiao, my guess is Mrs. Xiaoping has this illness for a very long time. She was already in severe stages of COPD. I'm sorry to say, but this illness has no cure. But with a proper treatment it can be controlled. She needs constant medication and I'm afraid to tell you that she needs lung surgery. He clicked his mouse and zoomed the picture. He pointed his pen at it while saying, "We need to remove her damaged tissue. If the damaged tissue continue to stay in her body, it will spread to the other tissues, making her breathing difficult and more painful. And I say it to you, Ms. Xiao, because it is a very important matter. She needs to have a surgery as soon as possible. Within this month, I suggest. It will be difficult to remove the damaged tissues and may cost her life if it delayed." Dr. Beeking seriously said. Xiongji was in thought. She remembered within this month, the old woman would pass away. Now she knew why. Yes. I thanked Dr. Beeking for his guidance. Unfortunately, my cousin was her guardian. I will tell this news to her. Probably within this week we gave you our response. For sure we will let our grandmother to undergo surgery. We will just discuss the date. Xiongji said. Even she agreed to let the old woman have surgery. She did not have a say in this matter. She needed to talk to the person involved. Just please do anything you could for my grandmother's health. Money is not an issue. Xiongji added. Dr. Beeking and Xiongji talked a little bit more. After a while, Xiongji got out of the room and went to cashier. She paid the bills. She looked around and spotted some cameras. She remembered the suspicious look the man gave him earlier in the rooftop. For sure, they would investigate her. She did not know whose family they were or the name of the silver boy. Xiongji went out of the hospital. She looked back at the hospital and her eyes roamed on the top floor of a certain building. The VIP floor. She could not help but remembered the scene earlier. She remembered what the boy said while shouting at the sky and the pin symbol in the guard suit. Whose family is it? To become so ruthless to a child. A/N. Yup, Xiongji think the teens in her age and below 23 are child. Except Lin Feng. Well, her soul is 23, yes. Old already. Silver boy, I hope you survive well. I cannot help you this time for I am nothing right now. Maybe in the future, we might meet again. Then she strode off. In a VIP floor, inside the glass door. A boy with silver hair was sitting on a bed. His check-up was done. He was currently staring outside the window. Then he sighed. I didn't even get her name. My friend's name. Thinking he has his first friend. The corner of his pale lips curled up slightly. His first slight smile after 10 years. Then he heard the door opened. His smile and dazed eyes quickly vanished, replaced by blank empty eyes and expressionless face. His entire aura returned for being dark and gloomy. The head guard came in. He walked towards the boy and even sat on his bed. Well, young master, how is your health? It keep deteriorating. You should focus on your health first. Then the man stand up and walked closer to him. He bent down and whispered maliciously to his ear. You should not playing around with some girl on the rooftop. His disgusting fingers traced at the silver boy's beautiful and smooth pale jaw. We know your every move. Do you think if that person knows you met a suspicious person he will spare the girl? I don't think so. Maybe you have forgotten what happened to your nanny and maids. The silver boy slapped the roaming hands of the man. He looked at him with empty, cold eyes. Do what you want. He said in a very cold voice. He stand up and walked towards the comfort room. Before he opened the door he said. And don't you touch me. He closed the door hard without looking back. The man who was standing beside the bed chuckled. Does he not care? Or is he just acting? Does he really run to the girl in the rooftop coincidentally? And doesn't know her at all? The man weighed his thoughts. He observed every action of the boy for the whole day. Nothing was amiss. He then concluded that his first guess was more possible. If that boy really knows the girl, why meet now? He even threatened the boy, but the boy was indifferent to it. He did not care at all if the girl dies. He then just shrugged it off. He would wait first at the result of their investigation. Then his phone rang. He answered it. Mr. Wei, the girl you were talking about just left. I checked first why she came here, by the looks of the CCTV's cameras and her record. She came here to check her grandmother's condition. She went to the rooftop while waiting for one of our doctors. Did you check on the doctor? Yes. He is clean. I also hacked their hidden cameras. They purely talked about the patient. I checked the record. It was the first time that the girl visit here. The woman voice said. The man was silent and was pondering at something. That's my initial investigation. Do you want me continue? I need a day to know her background and more. The woman added. No need. I get what I want. And you are still busy. Did you finish protecting the file? Yes, I just finished today. A yawn could be heard at the other line. Ha ha ha. You haven't slept yet. Thanks for the help, you should rest. Yeah, I'm planning to. I have still another job to do, you know. I still need to locate the other evidences. You should let the silver boy talk and not burdening my work. For your butt's sake, I'm a computer programmer. Not an investigator, the woman complained. The man chuckled more. Then tell it to the boss, if you have the guts to do so. He hired many detectives already. And he can't find anyone better than you in hacking. Besides, even you are forced to do so, you are given a plenty of money. Yea, I have plenty of money. But they are all dirty works. I don't want to work to that ruthless man and his evil father. Even towards his brother he. Stop that. He is your boss. The man growled dangerously. He was loyal to that man. The other line was silent. After a moment, a sad voice said. You really changed, Kongji. 1. I told you to call me Mr. Wei. Wei said with a hard and cold voice. The funny tone he used earlier was completely gone, and now the devil who talked to the boy earlier came out. Yeah, right. Bye. The woman said with a sarcastic voice. Then the call ended. The man looked with a dark expression in his phone. In his ears, the words that he always hear from his companions and friends rang in his mind repeatedly. You have really changed. He punched the wall and walked out from the room. Underscore 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 underscore. While in the meantime, the moment the boy entered the CR, his shaking legs gave in, he slumped onto the floor. He leaned against the door. He folded his legs, his knees in his chest. He hugged his shaking body. He was shivering hard. His eyes were wide but not seeing in front him. His pale lips trembling and his face that was already pale become completely white like a sheet of paper. When the man reminded him what happened to his nanny and the maids, he saw black. He suppressed his trembling body to act indifferently. But inside he was completely broke down. All he could see right now was the scene that was engraved painfully in his mind. He was only 6 at that time. Innocent, joyful and playful child. But it was shattered that night. Screams, pleas, tears, guns, and blood. He remembered it all. He would never forget that nightmare. He could still see in his eyes his father killing every maid who were working under her mother and loyal to her. He hugged his trembling body more. Since that night he was suffering from nightmare and insomnia. The worst, he was traumatized. Whenever he think of that night, he kept shivering. It will pass. Just a little more. He kept mumbling it to himself. After the shivering was gone, he stand up and take a hot bath. While the warm water was sprinkled all over his translucent body, his mind was working fast. He really need to get out from his father and brother's clutches. He need to get out of here. He need to contact his mother's family. He would not stay here anymore. He need to find a way to get to his grandfather. He clenched his hand. The joy of having his first friend quickly dissipated by a nightmare. He did not want his first friend to be gone. He need to live and be free. He suddenly stopped. The sounds of waters could only be heard, even his breathing could not be heard. His eyes that was blank and empty suddenly shined. His gloomy aura turned to chilling sharpness. His lips curled up in a devilish smile. He found a reason to live. I need to be free underscore 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 1 GE. An endearment to older brother. Not necessary to be relative but used by close person who are a little older than you. In ancient times in China, sometimes it was used to address in intimate way to a man. Source: From Me and Novels. Chapter 15. Xiao Mei. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiong Ji entered the car. The driver looked at her in the mirror and waited. Waiting for what? For their next destination. Xiong Ji took off her cap and said, Fengzhen City, Zongyang Law Firm. The driver started the engine but his mind ran again in different directions. Now, a law firm. Did our young miss really got in trouble? But when? Where? How? The gossipy driver carried on driving. When the clock hit 5, they arrived at a tall building. ZNJ, Zongyang National Justice. Xiong Ji went alone in the building and looked for Zongyang Law Firm. She went to the 3rd floor and approached the receptionist. Excuse me, where is the office of Ms. Bivia Chang? Oh, Lawyer Chang, do you have an appointment today with her? The receptionist said with a troubled expression. Xiong Ji pondered if she was going to say yes to make it faster or just be honest. Actually, I have some important matters to discuss with her. Can you please tell me where the office is? Xiong Ji decided to become a good child. The reception let out a sigh of relief. Then she said. Actually Ms. Lawyer Chang is not here, she's on leave. She will return to work next week. Xiong Ji furrowed her brows. Next week? What a waste of time. May I know where Lawyer Chang might be? Maybe I can meet her outside her office. It is very important. Ah, yes. Lawyer Chang is on funeral right now. Xiong Ji eyebrows arched slightly. So that's why she had not heard the news and could not help her target. In the past. Oh, that's why. May I know which funeral hall they went to? It's okay. It's not a secret from us. I heard they were in Vista Funeral Hall in Guangdong City. Actually it is Prosecutor Hua's family having a funeral right now. But Lawyer Chang is in relationship right now with Prosecutor Hua. So you know, as a girlfriend Lawyer Cha. Thank you. I should go right now. Xiong Ji bid goodbye to the ranting receptionist. She had a feeling that if she stay more she would be delayed by this gossipy receptionist. Xiong Ji went out of ZNJ and dove straight away to the car. The driver who were drinking while listening to music almost choked out when he saw Xiong Ji. So fast. Vista Funeral Hall. Xiong Ji did not waste any words. This time the driver choked out the water in his mouth. Funeral. He just guessed it but now it came true. A/N. Refer to chapter 10, still remember. RR. Wait, just gonna check. You really want to make it harder for me, ... The driver drove in the city towards VFH while his mind running again. The sun was already settled for a day when they arrived at VFH. Many people wearing black suit and dresses came back and fro towards the hall. Xiong Ji entered the building. She was looking for Bivia Chang. She knew what she looked like because she saw it in the news in the past. She looked around. In front was the altar and a picture of an old man. Beside the frame lines of incense were smoking. Below was table full of foods. Beside the altar, rows and rows of white flowers with family names attached to it. She looked at the seats in front. On the farther corner chair in the first row, a young woman in her early 20s wearing a black suit and dark skirt was sitting. Her black hair was tied in a bun, her white neck was exposed. She sat with posture even with a gloomy aura. Xiongji walked in front in the altar and burned an incense. She kneeled, put together her hands paying respects for the old man while bowing her head. The moment she was done, a middle-aged lady came to her. She wore a black funeral dress and her hair was tied up. Her hair was a little bit in disarray and her eyes were a little puffy. When she smiled to her it was warm but with a little bit of sadness. "Thank you for coming. Can I know this little lady's name giving respects to my father?" The lady asked with gentleness. "My name is Xiongji. I'm no relative. But I have my friend here." Xiongji said truthfully. Seeing the lady smile, her cold heart warmed a little causing her to trust the lady. "Oh, still I thank you for coming. Seeing a beautiful young woman as you visit my father he would be happy." She chuckled a little but it did not reach in her eyes. "May I ask whose friend are you?" "I'm a friend of Xiao Mei. I came here for her behalf. She can't come because of an emergency. I hope you don't mind." "It's okay. I understand." She smiled slightly. "I'm sorry for your loss." Xiongji said in a soft voice. "Thank you for coming here. Come, child, let's seat." The lady said pointing at the vacant chair. "No need, ma'am. I will not stay longer. I will need to talk to Ms. Bivia Chang." "Thank you for your concern." Xiongji said. "Oh, it's okay. Bivia is in front. She smiled to me and lead me in front. The woman I saw earlier saw us approached. She stand up and patted the lady gently in the back. Aunt Kuo, I'll assist the visitors. You should rest first a little." The woman said. She was tall, more tall than Xiongji. Her eyes were beautifully surrounded by thin and long lashes, it was slightly curved up at the edge, made her eyes sharp and profound. Her bridge nose was high like her posture and her thin red lips that was shut looked like a smart mouth. Her white skin was beautifully contrasted in the black suit she was wearing. "Thank you, buyer. This guest knows you. I leave her to you then." The lady smiled and walked to the people who just have arrived. Lawyer Chang turned to me. "Well, I don't know you. And you doesn't seem to be here to just pay respect. What do you need from me?" Lawyer Chang said directly. Her sharp eyes scrutinizing me. "I need to talk to you about Ms. Xiao Mei." Lawyer Chang's oppressive aura suddenly gone replaced by a worried expression. She had been contacting Xiao Mei for a week now. But she did not give any response. When she went to their apartment there was no one there, even Granny Ping. She wanted to inform her best friend about the death of their friend's granddad. Seeing that someone came here to inform her the whereabouts of her friend, she really got worried. "Not a bad news please." "It's a bad news. A very bad one." Xiongji said expressionlessly. Lawyer Chang said her thoughts out loud. She cleared her throat while clearing her head. Very quickly she said, "Let's talk outside." In the parking lot, where they were only the two of them and the lamp post, Lawyer Chang faced Xiongji and said stoically, "You better not lying. I will record everything. If you lie, even you are underage, I will make sure you will stay in prison. You understand?" Xiongji looked at the woman, she really was a lawyer with a defensive and offensive aura. But she liked it. No need to waste words, no need to waste time. Xiongji took out her phone, typed something and gave it to Lawyer Chang. CJ's controversy. Fake diamonds. Secretary Xiao Mei the mastermind, A/N, refer to Chap 8. Xiongji was scrolling news at that time, she encountered this. Lawyer Chang's sharp eyes grew wide, incredulity could be seen. She even zoomed the article. The article was just written 2 days ago. H.How.it can't be B. She will end. Never do that. T. This. She was framed up. Lawyer Chang was really sharp. But that is not the matter here. Ms. Xiao Mei is in prison for a week now. Xiong Ji did not beat around the bush. What? How come she didn't tell me? Then Lawyer Chang stopped for a moment, then she gritted her teeth and her gaze became menacing. CJs, they even block her for communicating. They would probably not give her a choice for the lawyer. Xiong Ji's lips curled up slightly. She liked this Lawyer Chang. She did not need to explain much. Lawyer Chang suddenly stopped her fuming and looked at Xiong Ji with suspicious eyes. I appreciate you telling me this, but who are you? How is this related to you? She inquired. If Xiao Mei could not contact them for help, then how this girl knew? More importantly, how did she know that she was related to Xiao Mei? She never saw the girl even in Xiao Mei's friend circle. And why she was doing this? It's not a bait, isn't? If it is, then they are all foolish. She was lawyer Bivia Chang. A famous lawyer working in many big corporations. Even they were a big company, they would be foolish to offend a woman like her who had many connections. Besides, those big companies gave importance of her. Why? Because she knew their dirty secret. With this thought, Lawyer Chang looked challengingly at Xiong Ji. My name is Xiong Ji, how am I related to Xiao Mei? You'll know later. But we must discuss the matter first. Xiong Ji had no choice but to tell the truth. This lawyer in front of her was sharp and have many resources. It would only took her a week or days to know her real identity. Xiong. Are you related to Xiong family of Imperial City? Lawyer Chang asked this jestingly. She did not really thought that this girl would be related to the one of the most powerful and wealthy family. Xiong. Since Xiong family owned the Xiong Corporation, one of the top 10 big company internationally. Besides, there would be no way this girl a Xiong. If she was, she would be surrounded by guards and expensive cars. Chapter 16. Xiao Mei 2, you are listening at novelfull.audio. As a Xiong, they gave importance to their image. They would not go out in the open like this. Whether I'm related to Xiong or not is not important. As I said, Xiao Mei needs your help. By next week her trial will come. We need to visit her tomorrow and know exactly her situation. Xiong Ji alone could help Xiao Mei to get out of the prison, but that would take time. With Lawyer Chang's help it would be faster. Of course, she would take the faster route. She's my friend. I'll definitely help her. Even the CJs block me. Lawyer Chang said with determination. Xiao Mei was her only female friend. They were best friends since high school. She knew with her temperament no one wanted to approach her, some did but quickly stepped back with a single reproach from her. She was known as a hard girl since young. She talked with sharp words, not caring who she talked to, and was guarded all the time. Her wall was high up that no one could climb up. But Xiao Mei was different to all the people she met. She was also the opposite of her. Xiao Mei was a lovely girl that get along with everyone. She was patient, unlike her who were very impatient and easily get angry. She always concerns herself with others even it was not related to her. She was kind that sometimes Bivia Chang get annoyed with her. She, Bivia Chang, did not care anyone and was selfish. She admitted it to herself. But the thing she liked the most about Xiao Mei was her sincerity and loyalty. Many backstab her and badmouthed her to Xiao Mei. But Xiao Mei did not believe those rumors and did not care at all if she had a bad image to other people, making the students around her treat her indifferently, unlike the kindly treat before. Furthermore, she could see that Xiao Mei sincerely want her to be her friend. When she asked her one time why she stick to her, Xiao Mei just answered. Because you're a friend that's hard to come by. It's a waste to not be your friend and to have a friend like you. Hearing her answer that time, she was confused at first. But in the next moment her heart warmed up, she was moved. A friend that's hard to come by, she understand then what she meant. In other words, a true friend. Since that day she let her climb up to her wall and gladly accepted her. Even now she could not believe that they would become best friends. Her friend that put so much trust in her was in trouble right now. She did not need to think twice. Lawyer Chang was about to open her mouth to ask something when she heard a noise from the back door. A few seconds a tall man with wavy short black hair came out. His pretty eyes with a thick brows on top, darted around and spotted them. When he walked closer, one can see his straight nose and plump lips. He was a little pale, but it did not decrease the dashing man's aura and pretty countenance. "Biver, I was looking for you, are you Al?" The man stopped for a moment when he noticed Lawyer Chang's serious and somewhat worried expression. Even the woman always looked serious, he still could tell what was serious or not. He furrowed his brows. He knew Bivia Chang since college. They were in the same department but different course. Since he knew her, he knew that the only thing that made this woman serious and worried was her only best friend, Xiao Mei. Did something happen to Xiao Mei? He walked toward Lawyer Chang. When he came to her side he eyed Xiongji. He was startled at first because of how young Xiongji was. What is a young girl doing out here in the night? Then he leaned closer to Lawyer Chang. Is it about Xiao Mei? He asked. It was unlike of Xiao Mei to miss his grandfather's funeral. So like Lawyer Chang he was sure something happened to her. But seeing Lawyer Chang's expression he knew it was worse than he thought. But don't worry about it. I will handle the matter. You need to focus in your family now, especially your mom, she needs you. Surprising Xiongji, Lawyer Chang's voice was soft and gentle. Xiongji looked at the man. Who is he? Then it dawned on her. She remembered what the receptionist said earlier. Is this man the prosecutor that Lawyer Chang has relationship on? The prosecutor just looked at Lawyer Chang. He knew how stubborn she was if he denied. So he only said, if you need me don't hesitate to call me. Xiao Mei is also my friend. Of course we will need you, I will tell you when the time comes. Rest first. Lawyer Chang ushered him to go. Without a choice he left them. He really trusted Lawyer Chang. He knew that she was not foolish enough to talk or made a deal to any stranger, so the talk with the girl must be true and important. After he left, the two girls face each other again. Lawyer Chang started first. Thanks for telling me this, even I don't know your intention. But I will handle the rest. Let's go tomorrow at 2 p.m. to Quanpayan Police. I will help you to get there. Don't wear any suits, just casual and a rubber shoes. Also a jacket and a cap. I'll pick you up in the near coffee shop at police station. Xiongji interrupted her. She knew what Lawyer Chang was going to do. Lawyer Chang wanted to handle it in old ways by herself. If she did that it would take months for the law to act up, and if they did not present sufficient evidence the case would be dragged out longer. And Xiongji did not want that. She needed Lawyer Chang but as a lawyer only. She would do the rest. Lawyer Chang was speechless at her rude interruption. She knew herself as a direct and sharp woman who used her words as her swords. But now she felt like her swords was deflected by a big and hard shield. The tone that girl used was not someone from her age. So commanding, oppressive and bossy. She was good at judging people. Now she felt like she was looking not at the small girl but a big-shot woman who would be dominant to any line of work she chose. Yes, she was offended, not everyone could stand her dominating aura, especially a little girl, but this girl just not stand and talked normally to her but also had the guts to interrupt her. She was impressed. She liked the girl more. If she was groomed properly she would become an outstanding figure in the future. So she let it pass her rude interruption. Why 2 p.m.? We must come early. Lawyer Chang asked. BDNV Xiongji, who already planned all things, said. Because I have school tomorrow. Xiongji did not really care school at all since she studied it already. But she had a reason. Lawyer Chang raised her eyebrow and looked at the girl in front of her. The girl was beautiful and young. So she was really underage, huh? Probably high school. Fine. I'll comply to your arrangements. But I still did not trust you. I will ride my own car. We just meet tomorrow. No problem. Xiongji said and turned away but stopped for a while. Please tell the lady earlier my condolences. And tell her, thank you, and I left. She said and started to walk off. But before she closed the back door she heard Lawyer Chang yelled. It is Mrs. Hua Yang. Lawyer Chang smirked. Looks like the girl was a little cold but easily too warm inside. Underscore 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 Xiongji walked towards her car while thinking. Hua. Why sounds so familiar? Where did I hear I? Then it struck her. Hua Dian. Who don't know Hua Dian? Hua Dian was the most frightening prosecutor in the field of justice. He did not take bribes, and if someone did, he would send that person in prison no matter what that person's background was. He was fearless and all his case won in triumph. He always sided at the people he knew was telling the truth and in need of justice. He would take his enemy without mercy. He was titled in his field as Hell King of Justice. So that man earlier was Hua Dian, the legendary prosecutor. So a person like him is in Xiao Mei's side. No wonder she was freed and could take CJs on. But with them alone was not enough. If it goes on it would take them 5 years to free Xiao Mei. In the past, because of their lack of evidence to prove Xiao Mei's innocence and the news came late to Lawyer Chang, the CJ's company won. But it did not let Lawyer Chang gave up to Xiao Mei. After 5 years, they managed to open up the case again and had a retrial. That time they won. The prosecutor of that trial was Prosecutor Hua. Since Pros Hua had a good impression to the public, the trial became famous and it even publicizes in the news live for the people to witness it. After concrete evidences against CJs, and with the public being a witness, the CJs lost terribly. But it was too late for Xiao Mei. Her grandmother had died without her knowing 4 years ago, her only relative died alone with no one to hold her. Seeing the part of the dirty world, Xiao Mei's rage consumed her. She vowed to smash CJs to ashes. After 2 years, when Xiongji was 23, when she was locked up in the monster's mansion, she watched the news about the CJ's controversies regarding its corruption, fake diamonds, abuse of employees, and dirty secrets all exposed to the public. First, the trial of Xiao Mei brought CJ's a huge decrease in marketing. All the wealthy client who trusted CJ's gems and diamonds turned away from them and even throw away their jewelries publicly. Their image had gone down in overnight. The truth was, their gems and diamonds were genuine and of high quality. But only to those who were wealthy and from famous family. Their jewelries were really trusted by these wealthy families. They only brought out the fake diamonds in those buyers who were not that wealthy enough and could not tell the difference between genuine and fake. After the controversy about the fake diamonds they publicly apologized. Even they suffer from huge loss, they still manage and targeted the commoners as buyers. Since CJ's was a 100-year-old company, they still had deep roots and managed to find investors. This outraged Xiao Mei. A life was gone because of their schemes. Now, she could not bring her sweet grandmother back. So she gathered any information she could remember when she worked at CJ's as secretary of their CEO. Then 2 years was gone, she released the shocking news of dirtiness of CJ's. To the media, the commoner and other investors, business partners, lost their trust to CJ's and knew it was doomed. After a week, the CEO and some of their board of directors who were related to the dirty works had gone to prison. And the CJs never rise anymore. Xiongji, who were watching the news at that time, really admired Xiao Mei. So she knew Xiao Mei's capability if she was given a chance. She liked the woman. Determined. Xiongji arrived at her car and smiled slightly. This would be easy. Chapter 17. How to Ask a Favor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The moment Xiongji entered the car, she quickly took out her notes and wrote continuously. Pages turned, a serious and focused expression of his young miss. The driver waited blankly. What happened to their young miss? She wrote like mad. Is she upset? After a while, Xiongji closed her small notebook and placed it in her jacket's pocket. Then she stared blankly in the air. The driver waited anxiously. The truth was, Xiongji was thinking and laying out her plan. The driver could not hold any more. Young Miss Ji, where are we going next? Xiongji snapped out of her thoughts. Home. The driver did not expected that. Ha ha ha, right, where did I expect young miss want to go in? This late. The driver bitterly scolded himself. Xiongji bit her lips. She was thinking a big how in her head. After a while she called out to the driver. Mister, what is your name? Xiongji said with a serious expression. The driver gulped. Did his young miss wanted to shut him up about today's matters? My name is Ji. The driver nervously said. Mr. Ji, can I ask you something? Xiongji's voice become grim. The driver speed up, he wanted to go home. He won't pry to his young miss business anymore or made any guesses. Can I? Xiongji asked again. Her face was dark. The driver was really scared. Did he offend his young miss? Tell me how and when, author. A/N. I also don't know. Having pressured. The driver muttered, yes. Xiongji heaved a sigh of relief. She was not sure if it was okay to ask something personal to someone you did not know. How did you ask a favor from someone? Xiongji started. The driver, who were sweating, stared at Xiongji dumbfounded. That is she wanted to ask. She got me nervous for nothing. The driver found himself and focused on driving while answering. It depends who you want to ask a favor from, young miss. The driver started. Can you please elaborate? Xiongji leaned forward to the driver's seat to hear the driver clearly. The opening statement of Mr. Ji was very true. It seemed like Xiongji would learn a lot today. Seeing his young miss eagerly wanted to hear whatever he would say, Mr. Ji felt like he was a teacher teaching a very important subject to his student, and that student was his young miss. He cleared his throat and focused his eyes at the road. With a very serious tone he said, as I said, it depends on who you are going to ask. Are you close to the person you're going to ask a favor from? Xiongji thought about it. I don't think so. We just talked once. Is the talk good or not? Remembering his talk with her, I don't know, we both don't compromise. So it may be not a good impression. It was like a situation when I ask a favor to one of my seniors. Xiongji nodded her understanding. There are two ways to ask a favor effectively. His hand was in air making a peace sign. First, you need to praise him, her. You have to tell her good points. Especially their appearances. Xiongji tilted her head. She could not understand the connection of praising someone to a favor. They're a different matter, right? The driver glanced at Xiongji in the mirror. He seemed to know what Xiongji was thinking, so he added. Like, for example, he cleared his throat. Senior, you're very handsome today. What brand you're wearing? I like to buy too. I really admire you, senior. You're such a genius in fashion. Can I become your fan? Ah, senior, this fan of yours really respect you, that's why I'm a little shameful to ask you a favor, but you are the only capable and the only one that is unmatchable, senior. Can you please kindly lend me your beautiful hand? For a moment. That's how I usually ask a favor from my seniors, and so far, it's all effective. The driver said proudly. Xiong-ji nodded understandingly. The way the driver asked a favor sounded pleasant to the ears. Even she would help Mr. G. The second. Xiong-ji asked. He said there were two ways. Oh. The second one is more effective than the other one. Actually, it is my plan B. If that person does not persuade by your praises, you just have to give him, her a gift. A gift that she cannot reject. And that never fails me. Xiong-ji thought hard. Indeed, giving a gift was more plausible. Like a bribe. Xiong-ji muttered. Mr. G was startled. No. It's not. It's a gift. I will not teach young Miss G those immoral acts. Mr. G denied hurriedly. A/N. Xiong-ji did not think hard about it. She was actually glad that her problem was solved. She looked at Mr. G in the mirror and said. Thanks, Mr. G. You are really reliable. I hope we can have more of this in the future. Mr. G swelled up in pride. Their young miss thanked and praised him. She even said she looked forward asking him favor in the future. Why does it seems like what I taught to young miss? She's a fast learner. The moment they got at Xiong's mansion, Xiong-ji opened her laptop and went to the shopping website. She ordered something and wrote the address of her school, THS. Then she slept. Underscore 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 underscore. A black Maybach parked at the Xiong's mansion. A handsome youth wearing a uniform came out from the car and went in the mansion. In the wide living room, he stand at the base of the stairs and waited. No one can see or guess what the youth was thinking at this moment. The maids who were working were secretly peeking at the dashing man who were standing like a beautiful statue. They looked at the youth with admiration. They wanted to chat with him while he was waiting. But no one had enough courage to do that. Then one pretty maid who were in her teens wanted to give it a try. The workers in the Xiong mansion knew that she was the prettiest maid among them, her figure was good too. A beauty like her was comparable to a celebrity. She chose to be a maid because the income was more generous than being a celebrity. Her family's origin also worked to Xiong, hence, they were loyal to Xiong, their wealth also tied up to those rich family. Besides, her target was working here. She walked towards her target and smiled sweetly. Feng Damar Zhou, did you already ate breakfast? We are just having our meal, come. Join us. The maid almost slipped to call the youth by his name intimately. Lin Feng with his sharp sense caught on what this girl wanted to do. Calling by his name. Breakfast. The girl obviously made him as her husband goal. Lin Feng did not like it a bit. But he still need to be polite. No need, I already ate. Thanks, he said coldly. The pretty maid was disappointed. But she did not give up. She acted cute and looked pitiful. Is that so? I thought we can bond with you. After all, we are all co-workers. We need to get closer to be harmonized. The girl stepped forward and was about to grind her full brie A.S.T to Lin Feng's arm when a cold voice sounded above. Lin Feng, sorry to make you wait. Lin Feng quickly distanced himself from the maid. He looked up to Xiong-ji. Xiong-ji gracefully made her way downstairs. Expression cold, her aura was more chilling than before. Her beautiful eyes squinted to the maid and quickly diverted to Lin Feng. Lin Feng's expression was still the same. But he could not help to notice the chilling aura from Xiong Ji's body. Like she was in a bad mood. When his eyes met hers, he sweated. Those eyes of her were accusing. Did I offend her? Xiong Ji walked forward. Her daily habit of staring and admiring Lin Feng did not occur today. Of course, Lin Feng, who was the subject of every day's torment, noticed this. She was really upset. To what? To me. What did I do? On the way, Xiong Ji was quiet. Mr. Ji was enthusiastic this morning. He even greeted the young miss a good morning, feeling that his relation to the young miss was closer than before since young miss asked him a personal question. But to his disappointment, the young miss just returned the greet and did not speak or ask him any more throughout the whole ride. He also noticed that his young miss' daily routine of, "You're good today," to Mr. Zhou was absent. What happened? Did young miss failed my two ways of asking a favor tactic? Oh no. I'm dead. Mr. G dejectedly drove towards the school. The atmosphere in the car was very gloomy. Xiong Ji was truly upset. To what? She did not even know. What she knew was the moment she saw a pretty maid flirting with Lin Feng she was agitated. What's more, when the maid was about to grind her sexy body to Lin Feng did not even budge. He just stand there and waited to violate his body by the pretty maid. Maybe he even liked it. Xiong Ji felt strange. She was mad, upset, and something else. This was the first time she felt this. And she did not like it. Chapter 18. Suck. Up, you are listening at novelfull.audio. The moment they arrived at THS, Xiong Ji quickly left the car and went in towards the juniors' building. She did not even wait for Lin Feng. She was still mad. She was confused. She was frustrated. She did not want to lash out to Lin Feng. She felt that if she stayed longer she could not restrain herself to tell Lin Feng all the truth. That they should be together and not wasted time. No flirting with others. She was very frustrated. She wanted to hold Lin Feng now, to tell him everything she wanted to say in her last lifetime. Her proclamation of love. But somehow, even without experience from this drama love, she knew if she blurted out all her feelings now, Lin Feng might distance himself to her. She could see that whenever she tried to make a move, by staring at him and praising him, Lin Feng was uncomfortable. She was afraid that Lin Feng might misunderstood her. And instead to love her like he did in the past, he might be guarded against her. She did not know what to do. He's near. But seems so far away. Arriving at her room, she put away these thoughts in the back of her mind. She had a goal to make today. She needed to focus. Underscore 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 lunch quickly came. At the farthest corner, Gu Zhen sat on his usual spot. He was typing non-stop to his laptop. Then he felt a shadow above him. He looked up and saw Xiong Ji sat across from him. He returned his gaze to his laptop and typed. Without looking up he said, "I thought you are giving me a year." He waited for a response. Not hearing anything he looked at Xiong Ji. Xiong Ji was just sitting in front of him. Staring at him. He did the same. He stared at her. Minutes passed. They stared each other unmoving. Not far away, a girl with her lunch tray circled around their table many times like she was looking for something. Xiong Ji had enough of her staring. She tried very hard to look for something to praise at Gu Zhen's appearance. Finding nothing, she recalled Mr. Ji's sample to her. She opened her mouth and looked at Gu Zhen's eyes. Seeing that Xiong Ji was about to say something serious, Gu Zhen's full attention was on her. Gu Zhen, you look handsome today. A loud sound of glass breaking interrupted everyone in the cafeteria. Xiong Ji looked at the source. The girl nearby was standing between the break glasses of plates and food. The girl had a horrified look in her face. Xiong Ji recognized her. She was one of her classmates. One of the cafeteria staff walked towards the girl. She checked if the girl's body was injured and talked to the stunned girl. Miss, are you okay? We will send you to the clinic right away. The staff really looked worried and troubled. But it was for her job. These rich students could fire them easily. She was afraid that she offended the rich student. The girl shook her head. No, it's alright. My hand just slipped. Xiong Ji returned her attention back to the youth in front of him. Gu Zhen did not even notice the accident earlier. He just stared dumbfounded at Xiong Ji. Did I hear her correctly? Xiong Ji thought her praise was not enough. So she continued. I like your fashion. How did you style yourself? Gu Zhen's jaw dropped. Who would like his fashion? He knew himself that he looked weird. With long curly hair that covered his eyes, his thick glasses made him a nerd, his buttoned-up shirt's uniform was styled outdated. His father and his relatives always pestered him to change his looks. But he liked what he looked today. No one noticed him. No one bothered him. And he liked it. He was not concerned of his popularity nor his image. He did not even care about girls. That's why facing a girl's praise to his looks he did not know what to say. He observed Xiong Ji. What happened to her? With an expressionless face and cold voice she did not look like she was praising him sincerely. She was forced to do this. But why him? Xiong Ji continued her so-called praise. What I liked the most is your beautiful fingers. This time Xiong Ji was sincere. They are like gods in that laptop of yours. I believe no one could match them. Even the genius hacker of the previous generation could not even make one of your fingers to be his worth. He is already defeated by a mere finger. Xiong Ji read many poems and books in the past. She used metamorphic words to enhance her praise. Besides, what she said was true. Years from now, this youth in front of her would be titled the unparalleled genius of their generation. However, to Gu Zhen, it felt like she was exaggerating too much. He knew himself so well, he was confident in his skills. But he was not sure if he was on par with the current genius hacker. The way Xiong Ji delivered it made him doubt himself more. Xiong Ji, strike again. I really admire you and I am a fan of yours. As a fan, I will be truly in heaven if you lend me your strength and help me this once. You are the only one who can do it. Xiong Ji said the last part seriously. She felt like she would become a poet. When Gu Zhen heard this, his expression became completely sour. What the hell? I think this girl just want to ask me a favor. He looked at Xiong Ji and Xiong Ji just looked at him expectantly, waiting for his answer. She troubled herself to suck up on me just for a favor. It is unlike her. Even Gu Zhen was not close to Xiong Ji or to any Xiong family. He heard about the beautiful, cold and indifferent young miss of Xiong. Seeing the expressionless face of Xiong Ji, he was certain that it was not her idea, so he asked her. Who taught you to suck up on people? It's terrible. Xiong Ji just raised up her eyebrow. Suck up. Gu Zhen saw her expression and sighed. Anyway, no matter what favor you want to ask for, I'm not going to help you. I'm busy. Gu Zhen pointed his finger to his laptop. He was already halfway of revising his work. He did not want distractions. Xiong Ji knew her plan A did not work. Time for plan B. She took out something on her pocket and then placed it on the table. The sounds of metal clashing attracted Gu Zhen's attention back to Xiong Ji. In the table, there was a key. He looked at Xiong-ji questionably. Locker 13L, there is a video game console, the latest edition. Gu Zhen stared at Xiong-ji blankly. When his mind processed the word video game console, he stared at the key. He already imagined the precious thing that the locker contained. He gulped. What a tempting offer. Of course, Gu Zhen knew what this gift mean. He needed a video game console for the progress of his game to experiment. Gu Zhen could buy this treasure himself. But the problem was, his father blocked him to all electronics store. He was monitored closely. He had game console but now they were thrown away by his father. Seeing the thing he wanted the most offered to him in just one favor, he was tempted. But then he remembered that if he got it, where he would put it. He could not bring it to his home. Remembering what happened last time when he sneaked out a game consoler, he smiled bitterly. That's a good move. I really need a game consoler right now, especially the latest edition. However, I can't bring it home. It will be useless. Xiong-ji raised her brow. He cannot defend himself against his father. You are a genius hacker. Cannot hack your own father's. Xiong-ji's unspoken words was understood by Gu Zhen. Since Xiong-ji knew he was good in electronics, she must also knew that he could easily hack his father's security and changed his own password to his room. No one can enter to his room then with his godly ability. Even his father hired experts to crack his password, they would not succeed. Thus they could not enter his room. Even the hidden cameras were not a problem. So what he is worried about? Sensing the confused gaze of Xiong-ji, Gu Zhen explained. You think I'm a god in the field of computers and electronics, but I'm only a humble mortal in the face of a bomb. He said, emphasizing the last word. He was not joking. His father found out that he hacked his hidden cameras and passwords, thus he used underhanded methods. Since he could not crack his password in his room, he used bomb all the time to check on his room. And he was scared shitless whenever he heard that loud sound. Hearing Gu Zhen's story, Xiong-ji did not find it unusual. As expected from a military family, Xiong-ji was lost for a moment. Then she quickly thought of something. Do you still have my card on you? Gu Zhen was startled by her question but quickly recovered. He nodded embarrassingly. The truth was, the card was always in his pocket. It was his last resort if things got worse and he had no way out of his family's responsibility. Even he mocked Xiong-ji in their first meeting, he could not help but trust her and place her hope in her. There is an address there. A small office for my small company. You can use that place. Xiong-ji suggested. She already bought a place for her small company. The only missing was her CEO and her vice director. The truth was Xiong-ji was taking advantage of this situation. She knew well that Gu Zhen was revising his work and he needed equipments and place to work. That's why she did not push him and waited for a year. A year was enough for him to finish it. Do you think my father will not see through me? He will stop me for dropping by to that place. Have you forgotten who I am? One word from me and your father will happily comply. Gu Zhen was confused for a moment and then gaped at Xiong-ji. How can I forgot I was talking to a Xiong? A first-line descendant at that. Being a Xiong meant power. Even his father was from the government with military backing, he could not afford to offend the Xiong. Thus, if Xiong-ji asked a favor, his father had no choice but to comply. What are you planning? Gu Zhen was excited. I will handle this matter. After you finish the task I had given you, I will give you this key. Xiong-ji picked up the key. Gu Zhen's corner mouth twitched. A favor become a task. Xiong-ji took out a piece of paper and USB, then handed it to Gu Zhen. Just hack these accounts and copy their file. Gu Zhen took the paper and looked at the list. There were at least 7 names on it. It would be impossible to do this, but with Gu Zhen's ability he could do it. Gu Zhen smirked. It will only take me minutes to do this. Prepare tomorrow your gift. N. Gu Zhen happily walked away with his laptop. Xiong Ji was about to stand up when she felt again the glare in her back. She quickly looked around. Who is it? But everything around her seemed normal. Students chatting while eating. Workers cleaning and serving. No one was looking at her direction. Xiong Ji strode off from the cafeteria. I don't have time to play hide and seek with you. Soon, I will rat you out. Underscore 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 /n. Hey yo. The glare again. You will soon meet him, her. Chapter 19. Xiao Mei, 3. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Why should I have to wear it? Do you really know who I am? For turtle's sake. I'm a lawyer. I can just barge in and they won't blink an eye. Lawyer Chang continuously rattled while they were making their way towards the police station. Earlier, they met at the coffee shop. Xiong Ji already texted Lin Feng that she needed to do something without his company. So after school, she went directly at their meeting place. She gave Lawyer Chang a cap, uniform and a box of food. They looked like food deliverers. Since Xiong Ji sneaked out to the VIP floor, she discovered she had a liking to do these kind of things. So she was enthusiastic. But Lawyer Chang was strongly against it. However, they needed it. Xiong Ji did not explain anything, she just forced Lawyer Chang to wear it. In the end, after Lawyer Chang's constant grumbling, she gave up and reluctantly wear the uniform. She still remembered Xiong Ji's threatening words when she refused to wear it. If you don't wear it I will alert the CJs. She said it while tapping her phone. They reached the entrance and the scene before them shocked them both. At the lobby, no vacant chair could be seen. They were all occupied by the reporters. Some with cameras, others writing at their notes, some were typing non-stop to their laptop, some were interviewing chiefs and officers, others were waiting and chatting. Lawyer Chang immediately shut her mouth. They made their way in the seas of people. No one stopped them nor recognized them. They enter the visiting area. In this place reporters were not allowed. Even without this disguise they still cannot stop me. And they are reporters. People will know I represent Xiao Mei, then the CJs cannot do anything about it. Lawyer Chang whispered. Yelled at Xiong Ji. She was actually embarrassed. She now knew why Xiong Ji wanted them to disguise. She was a known figure in the field of law. Those reporters with sharp eyes would notice her, and if she came in her usual black suit those people would swarm at her. It might even cause the CJs to be guarded against her. Still, she was a proud woman. So she was trying to save her image towards Xiong Ji. Xiong Ji furrowed her brows, a little annoyed. Her liking towards Lawyer Chang was diminishing a little. With impatience she said, half of the people are from CJs. They may also control the media to spread the news. If we want to publicize it we must do it in a trusted media. Still. When Lawyer Chang wanted to say something, Xiong Ji rolled her eyes. She could not believe that Lawyer Chang was this childish. Lawyer Chang saw the eye roll. She was more ashamed. She knew she acted like a child. But she was like this, a little panicky, and talkative if she was nervous. And she was nervous only by few things. Including Xiao Mei. She was nervous meeting Xiao Mei. She let Xiao Mei suffer in this mess alone. What kind of best friend was she? She did not even know what happened to her and... Then her eyes went wide. Oh turtle butt. A/N. It was her own way of cursing. Xiong-ji looked at Lawyer Chang impatiently. What is it now? I'm worst, Granny, that I forgot Grandmother Ping. Lawyer Chang said with panicked expression. How could I forgot? Xiao Mei will never forgive me. Lawyer Chang felt like crying. Xiong-ji saw many sides of Lawyer Chang today. So she ignored the crying face of Lawyer Chang. They approached the police officer who were in charge for visiting. At the window panel, Xiong-ji placed the box in front of the officer and said. Mr. Officer, thank you for your hard work in keeping these criminals at bay. Without you, our country will be in mess. I'm really grateful and really admire you. As my benefactor, I want to give this to you. A token of appreciation from me. Xiong-ji used her new learned skill. Sucking up and giving gifts. She pushed the box towards the officer. At her side, Lawyer Chang stared at Xiong-ji with an open mouth. What the? This girl has sharper weapon than me. Lawyer Chang planned earlier to threaten the officer to let them speak to Xiao Mei, because for sure, the CJs would bribe these officers to not let others speak to Xiao Mei. But she did not expect that Xiong-ji would handle it first. It was a good approach. But let's see if she succeed. The officer was glad to hear compliments and accepted it with glee. Of course. That is my dream since I was young. To serve the country and protect it from those bastards. To ensure you beautiful ladies will have a safe place to live with. I thank again the officer. Please accept this gift. Since you say so. The officer accepted the box and took a peek. He was shocked when he saw what was inside. Mr. Officer, this fan of yours was really in trouble. I really need your help. Xiong-ji tried to sound pleading, but the plain, monotone and cold voice still came out. Maybe I should try voice lessons. The officer ears perked up hearing her words. Of course. I will help you. Anything for you, lady. The officer answered happily. The police officer could understand that the lady in front of him was bribing him. Since he was doing it for years. But only mild favors. Like extending the visiting time, handing food, medicine, ointments, books or any harmless objects to the prisoners from their family. We are visiting my cousin. We want to talk to her, Xiao Mei. Oh, okay. I just check which cell she. The officer took out a record book while speaking but then stopped abruptly. On the record book, the name Xiao Mei was highlighted and had a note written beside it. Strictly no visiting. The officer was shocked for a moment and then looked at Xiong-ji. His eyes that was looking at them lost its mirth. It was serious with suspicion. I'm sorry. I cannot help you in this matter. It is authorized by higher-ups that Xiao Mei cannot be visited. Xiong-ji quickly embraced the box. That box contained food and money. Is that so? Maybe I should give this to anyone then. I just need 2 minutes to talk to her. I need to tell her our grandmother is having a surgery. The officer looked at the box with regret. But it's fine, Mr. Officer. I will give this to anyone then who will not tell that we talked to my cousin, and we will make sure it did not happen in his shift. We just wanted to tell the news about grandmother. Xiong-ji started to walk away. Wait. Just talk, okay? Only 2 minutes. The officer gave in and looked covertly at the box. Are you sure? We don't want to trouble you. Xiong-ji said. No. It's fine. No one know it happened to my shift, okay? The officer was a bit nervous. For sure his chief received a lot of bribe from someone big to prevent that Xiao Mei to receive visitors. Since his chief received money, why not him? No one would know it was him anyway. Accepting the bribe, he looked around to check if someone's nearby. Seeing no one, he opened the door and led Xiong-ji and Lawyer Chang to the prisoner's ward. I tell it to you, we are not allowed to let anyone in this area. But if I let that cousin of yours to come out, we might get caught with no escape. If someone saw us, you know what to say, right? The police officer said hurriedly while leading them. This was the first time that his part-time accepting small bribe to be dangerous and maybe got himself fired. But the offer was good, just 2 minutes talk, and all the money in the box would become his. Besides, their chief was in wrong today. He was just helping these two pitiful ladies for their grandmother. Yup, he was doing it for good reason. The officer reassured himself that he was not doing something bad. They reached the prison ward and they looked for the cell where Xiao Mei was. They arrived at the farthest cell. Xiong Ji peeked inside. Inside the small cell, a woman with long black curly hair cuddled herself together in the corner of the bed. Lawyer Chang gasped when she saw her best friend's vulnerable state. Mei. Hearing the familiar voice, the woman looked up and her tear-dot face, puffy eyeglasses, dark circles under the swollen eyes was exposed to the three of them. Xiao Mei looked differently to what Xiong Ji saw in T.V. in her past lifetime. Instead of a sharp, confident, smart-looking, and guarded Xiao Mei she had seen before, it was a broken Xiao Mei. Her red swollen eyes looked at them. When she recognized Lawyer Chang, she quickly stand up and run stumbling towards them. Biv. Buyer. Xiao Mei's tears flowed out continuously. Mei. Lawyer Chang choked and small sobs came out of her. They just held each other hands and called each other names. When 10 seconds passed, Xiong Ji cut them off. We've got 2 minutes only. Xiao Mei, I'm Xiong Ji. Then Xiong Ji handed her card to Xiao Mei. IHZHI. Xiao Mei looked at the card, then to Xiong Ji, and finally looked at Lawyer Chang. Her eyes were asking, who she is. Your friend. Lawyer Chang understood the gaze of Xiao Mei. She raised her right brow, seemingly asking, you don't know her. Xiao Mei furrowed her brows trying to recall if she met Xiong Ji before. However, she did not met her before. So she shook her head. Lawyer Chang's gaze turned sharp towards Xiong Ji. She let her guard down. It turned out this girl's identity was suspicious. Don't look at me like that. Seeing the questioning eyes of Xiao Mei and the suspicious gaze of Lawyer Chang, Xiong Ji just rolled her eyes. I will not be here trying to get you out if I want you harm. I'm here with a proposal. Lawyer Chang raised her brow, Xiao Mei was stunned and the police officer was confused. I will help you to get out of here, but with a deal. Xiong Ji directly stated her goal. Wait. What kind of deal you are talking about? And you girl, who are still underage, what can you do in this situation? Do you think I will agree to your disguise earlier because I just want to? No, I was forced. Forced because CJ's is our enemy. And they're blocking everyone who tried to help Xiao Mei. Can't you see the difficulty of the situation? You are a child, and we're really thankful to you for reaching out to us about Xiao Mei's situation. But you better stop your jokes. You should not concern yourself with this matter anymore. It is ADU.L.T's problem. Lawyer Chang said in quick breath. She really liked this Xiong Ji. But this girl might be inflicted by CJ's. If they could frame up their loyal employee without batting an eye, how about the teenager who want to go against them? They would surely destroy this girl's bright future. Xiong Ji heard this made her want to roll her eyes at them. Could they finish her first? I know you do not believe in me. But Xiao Mei, you don't have any time. I visited your grandmother at the hospital yesterday and they needed your consent for her surgery. What happened? What surgery? Xiao Mei could not believe what she was hearing. Her grandmother was healthy before she left. What happened? Xiong Ji took out her phone and let them see the picture of Xiao Ping's X.ray, results of test, and the last picture of Xiao Ping in the hospital bed. Only seconds passed and she put her phone away. Believe me now. Xiong asked expressionless. Both Lawyer Chang and the officer stared dumbfounded at Xiong. They had the same thought. That's the most cruel way of delivering news. A/N. Yup, but the most detailed and short one, no explanation needed. See, effortless. That's our Xiong, Grandma. Xiao Mei couldn't control herself anymore, she cried while trying to reach Xiong's phone. Even from a quick glance she saw that her grandmother had a serious illness and needed surgery as soon as possible. Xiao Mei blamed herself. Her grandmother took her when her parents died because of an accident leaving their 10-year-old child. Since she became ADU.L.T, her only wish was to give her grandmother a comfortable and luxurious life. She wanted to repay her love and care for her. When she was in prison, all she could think was her grandmother. What if she heard the news? How heartbroken she would be. And now, seeing her grandmother in the hospital bed, suffering without her staying by her side, making Xiao Mei wanted to break out in prison no matter what. Don't worry. Her condition was stabilized, but it can get worse. You need to get out of here and stay by her side while she undergoes surgery. You want that, right? My proposal is you will work for my company if I get you out. Have you heard what I've said? CJ's is not easy to take on. You will get. Lawyer Chang cut her off. Then tell me, if you handle the matter, how long can you take out Xiao Mei here? Xiong rebuked, she was losing her patience. I have everything planned. Hu Dian will help us. But finding evidences against them might be difficult. I think at least a month. I will not let these case closed until Xiao Mei's innocence is proven. Lawyer Chang answered with stern face. Xiong turned to Xiao Mei. Can you tolerate for a month? Do you want to stay for a month here and longer? Xiong asked her. Xiao Mei was horrified and shook her head. She doesn't want to stay here any longer. Her grandmother needed her. I talked to the doctor, he said grandmother Ping needed urgent surgery. By next week at least. Xiao Mei, the card that is on your hand is the company that I'm about to build. I want you to be the vice director of IHCHI. I will bring to you the contract and the details later after you got out. Lawyer Chang said she can take you out of here, but she needed a month or maybe longer. But I guarantee you, if you accept my deal, I will get you out of here in a week. Not just that, I will make sure CJ's will not be seen standing anymore. How is it? It's worth a try, right? The three people who heard her said this was shocked beyond their comprehension. Lawyer Chang's mouth was opened in disbelief. In a week. Even Lawyer Chang did her best. She could only confidently stated that she could do it in a month. However, a 16-year-old saying she could do it in a week did not sound possible. Xiao Mei was beyond shocked to hear a girl in front of her wanted to create her own company and recruiting her to be her vice director. And this girl seemed confident that she could prove her innocence. Not only that. She said she would do it in a week. And make the CJ's bankrupt. Even she, who always saw good in people, she could not believe what this 16-year-old was saying. But looking carefully at the girl, Xiao Mei realized that the girl was serious and confident. Like she had everything in her hand. She just waiting to strike. The aura that Xiong emitted were too strong that Xiao Mei wanted to trust and believe in her. The officer was shocked. Was it okay to listen to their conversation? He was witnessing conspiracy here. And wait. I thought they were cousins. Xiong stared at Xiao Mei, waiting for her answer. Xiao Mei looked at Xiong after making up her mind. Thank you for taking care of my grandmother. The fact that you even knew my grandmother's condition tells me how serious you are for this company of yours. Sure. I agree to your deal. I don't care how will you do it. But please let me get out of here. I need to be my grandmother's side. She is the only relative I have. I will never forgive myself if something happened to my grandma. Xiao Mei. Lawyer Chang wanted to intrude. And I'm sure Bivia and Jianji will help you. Xiao Mei continued on. Buyer, she is my and my grandmother's benefactor. I know you were probably caught up with something this past week, right? Xiongji really helped me this time. Let's trust her. And she said it herself, we will see the contract later once I get out. We can adjust the conditions then. I know you trust and like her also, if not, why accompany her here? If you really don't want to, you can just go to me alone. I know you, Biv. Xiao Mei said to Lawyer Chang. Lawyer Chang sighed. She was also grateful to Xiongji for helping Granny. She was just worried. How could a 16-year-old girl could handle this matter? No matter what, she would do her best to help Xiao Mei. Xiongji corner lips curled up slightly. At last, a result came. Don't worry. I don't go back on my words. I'll definitely get you out. See you next week. And like that, Xiongji strode off. Not even glancing back. The three people who were left stared at her back. Moment later, Lawyer Chang bid her goodbye to Xiao Mei and run after Xiongji. Her clothes were still there. She would not go home like this. Meanwhile, the officer was staring at the box. He could not believe what he witnessed today. I'm not going to die, right? They said people who knew many secrets be better dead. Because dead do not tell tales. So much for bribery. I won't do it anymore. Then he opened the box, set aside the food and count the money. At least it was a good sum. At the bottom there was a note attached to it. I record the whole thing. You better not tell it to anyone. If you do, be prepared to become unemployed for the rest of your life. I hope we can work together in the future. Thanks, no future. Underscore 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 underscore. Lawyer Chang was still in daze as she changed her outfit. She felt what happened earlier was like a dream. They just made a deal with a 16-year-old girl and put Xiao Mei's life into her hands. Is it really fine? No matter how I think about it, is impossible. But even it was impossible, like Xiao Mei, she was also desperate to help Xiao Mei out. She was desperate to even believe a kid. But it concerned Granny's life. It's a matter of life and death. No matter how illogical it was, she had to put her fate and believe in Xiongji. She hoped Xiongji had cards in her sleeve and bring miracles out. Lawyer Chang, can I bother you to help a friend of mine? Xiongji said as she finished changing her clothes. Ah. Lawyer Chang was slow in response as she was still thinking the earlier matter. I have friend in prison. He was still waiting for his trial. It was just a light case. You can help him out by your name. Lawyer Chang went back from being a strict lady. I don't help bad people. He is not a bad person. He was a victim. He was like Xiao Mei. His client wanted to sex.udare.lly harassed him. Now he is in prison. Xiongji described Fang Dain's story in a hurried manner. Lawyer Chang's expression relaxed. She was ready to help if that was the case. Besides, that was Xiongji who was asking, the girl whom she put her and Xiao Mei's faith to. All right. I'll investigate first. Please do it before 3 days. Lawyer Chang's mouth twitched. Why, she felt like the favor was like a task given to her. Surprisingly, though, she was not irritated, rather she felt it was natural for this little girl to command. Lawyer Chang had an inkling that this Xiongji would be an ultimate boss in the future. Oh, how right she is. Chapter 20. Mysterious File. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The city lights were beautifully in contrast with the dark night. From above, in the 67th floor, where the CEO of Xiong Corp resided, a large screen was opened and a figure of an old man could be seen. The old man in the screen was playing Go. He was facing the camera. It looked like he was playing with someone on the other side of the screen. In front of the large screen, an old man with same table of Go in front him was playing. They were playing by themselves. Are you winning? I think I'm losing against myself. The old man in the screen said. Of course, I never lost against myself. That'll be stupid. The old man in the couch said. Ha ha ha. Pardon me for being stupid. You're still the same old Xiong with the same rude mouth of yours. The old man in the screen laughed. He was not a bit offended by what the other old man said. And you're still the same, stupid old Guan. Old Xiong, I know you did not contact me just to offend me. You're not that bored, aren't you? Of course. Xiong Corp still doing great. I called you because I have some matter to change in our deal last time. Last time? The only deal we made is the marriage arrangement for your eldest granddaughter and my youngest grandson. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, what is it? Do you want to introduce them to each other now? I already sent my grandson to that school. I still want to let them meet first by themselves. Have you told him who is his fiancée? Not yet, it is his mission to know. Why asking? I made a deal with my granddaughter. Old Guan stopped moving his Go, and looked at old Xiong on his screen. That's news. Since when did you make deals with youngsters? Do you suddenly realize to become a filial grandfather? Old Xiong glared at him. Of course not. I just realized that maybe I don't need your help anymore. Old Guan raised his eyebrow. What do you mean? Do you want to know what deal I agreed for my granddaughter? Old Guan noticed the arrogant tone of his old friend. This made him curious. Don't make it a suspense. Just said it already. Well, Jia proposed that she will create her own company and make it big in 4 years. Do you know what I consider big? She even said that it will reach in my ears. That's how confident she is. You know me, old Guan, I will never invest to a company that was only a drawing. How much more a company made by a 16-year-old? But I felt it. I have a hunch that this granddaughter of mine would surprise me. I want to see how far she can grow. Maybe, I can finally find my rightful heir. So, what does it have to do to our previous deal? Well, there is a condition. If she made her company big enough to gain my attention, then she would choose her way in her life, hands off. HMM.IT means you cannot invade any decisions in her life including marriage. Yes, you're not stupid after all. Actually, old Guan was not stupid. How could an owner of Guan Group that was internationally famous be stupid? He just had a low EQ. And old Xiong, who grew together with him, knew his secret. So you are saying that you want to break our deal for that agreement between you and your granddaughter? Well, if she managed to be successful. But if not, our deal will come in then. So I'm like your second plan, huh? You're heartless as always. But you know me, old Xiong. I already sent the contract to your email. Just fax it to me after you signed it. Old Xiong knew what this old and crafty Guan wants. He need to coax this old man. Old Guan told something in his secretary, and minutes later the secretary brings some doc.u.ments. Old Guan read the content. After the last page, he laughed. Ha 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 ha. You are really confident towards your granddaughter, aren't you? To compensate me with a billion project. I tried to talk to you this project for 3 months, but you never blinked. Now, you invest with billions. Ha ha ha. Remember, this compensation is only for breaking the deal, nothing more. Then old Guan laughed again. I know, if she fail, she has to marry the man I chose for him. Besides, she is a Xiong. I will give her a chance to prove herself. This chance wasn't even given to any of my kin. Ha ha ha. Why don't we make a bet? 100 million. Fine. But let's raise it. It's too small, 500 1 billion. Old Xiong said with straight face. What? That's how confident you are to your granddaughter. 2 billion. I'm not confident. She is a Xiong. A billion or two is not what she's worth. Billions for them was only a part of their money. Both were owners of big company internationally. They could spend billions without even blinking an eye. But for these two old men, losing a penny for the other was like losing their whole company to the other. That's how competitive they were to each other. Fine. You and your beliefs. How can I win them? So what side you are betting? Old Guan gave up. Well, 2 billion was not big for him. But it was still a money. But it was okay, he thought this time was a win-win situation for him. He got the billion project from his old friend, he could win 2 billion, he would get a granddaughter. In law, and he could tease this serious old man once he lost. However, little did he know that he was the one who will be in this situation. Of course, on my granddaughter's side. The blood of Xiong runs in her. Old Xiong said with pride. Then I'll take the other side. I don't quite believe that your granddaughter who haven't seen the business world will be successful. She has so much to learn. Even the harsh reality. That's what I thought, but I want to see what she can do. I'll believe in her for now. Silence was heard afterwards. Then old Guan asked. When is your Xiong Corp anniversary? 2 weeks from now. Are you going this year? I don't plan to. But I want to see your bold granddaughter that managed you to waste your money. Then see it for yourself. After the video call ended, old Xiong stand up and walked towards the window. He looked at the city lights below, a beautiful scene like stars in the dark sky. Jier, I hope you won't disappoint me. Underscore 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 Xiong Ji walked downstairs with gracefulness, like a beautiful goddess that was descending on earth. That was Lin Feng and the maids thought when they saw Xiong Ji coming down. However, the goddess herself was actually in deep thought and walking down slowly with depression. Every step was heavy. Xiong Ji was still thinking what she felt yesterday and how childish she acted. Now, she did not know how to face Lin Feng. Did Lin Feng think she was overacting? However, Lin Feng, the subject of Xiong Ji's torment, already forgotten the tantrums Xiong Ji did yesterday. It was actually unnoticeable. Lin Feng reached out his hand to guide Xiong Ji. Good morning, young Miss Ji. Xiong Ji did not accept the hand nor look at him. This made Lin Feng stiffen. They walked towards the car and rode quietly. Xiong Ji was in a bad mood again. She felt that she had hurt Lin Feng by not accepting his hand. Well, she wanted to. But she was still guilty for accusing Lin Feng flirting with the maid. While Lin Feng was confused. His heart was heavy and disappointed. To what? He did not know. It's like he felt rejected. The two was immersed in their own thoughts. The driver was also in the bad mood. Why? Did he have a heartache too? ******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** No, he was angry at himself. He thought he disappoint his young miss because his young miss was in a bad mood after that day. You know, their personal talk. R. Oh. Poor driver. He got it all wrong. A/n tell him, *******A/n. I kept giving him hints but he didn't get it. Poor him. Xiong-ji entered the class with heavy heart. In the entrance she saw Gu Zhen sitting next to her usual spot. His hair was in disarray, which was always More disarray, he had dark circles under his eyes and his clothes looked like it was put hurriedly. He stand up quickly when he saw Xiong-ji. "I've been waiting for you. Come here," he excitingly said. BL.net. Xiong-ji's eyebrow raised. What can get him so excited other than Compu? Then Xiong-ji walked hurriedly towards Guzhen. "What is it? Did you find something?" she asked once she seated next to him. "Of course. But there's more." Guzhen opened his laptop and opened a file. It was an image. "I hacked all the accounts you have written. I copied all of them. It was on your USB. But there's an account that I spent hours with. These accounts that I hacked were completely defenseless against me within minutes. 4.5 minutes the maximum. But this account." Guzhen typed something and the account of the president of CJ's came out. "I hacked this account. And I copy all of his file easily. But there is one file that was heavily protected. When I tried to copy it, this file produced virus and destroy all the data on my computer. It is good that I was inventing my own security system against hackers and virus. If not, I will not recover any file in my computer. Do you know how many hours this file virus fought with my defense? They fought for 6 hours. That's insane. This is the first time I encountered something like this. Whoever invented this type of virus is a genius." Guzhen said with awe. "But of course, I'm more a genius. I fought and my system won. If I was given more time I can completely wipe out his virus and trace that file and copied it." Guzhen said with excitement. Despite the dark circles in his eyes, he looked enthusiastic than ever. Xiong-ji guessed this guy did not sleep. Thinking this, Xiong-ji was grateful. "Thank you for helping me. In return I will keep my promise," Xiong-ji said with sincerity. Guzhen just scratched his head. "Yeah, that you should fulfill it. By the way, do you want to infiltrate that file? Can I see?" Guzhen beckoned Xiong-ji to come closer and peeked on his laptop. Guzhen used his mouse and point the arrow to a certain file. Xiong-ji was startled. Seeing this letter, she can't help but remember the guard in the rooftop wearing the same symbol on his collar, and also the silver boy. Are they connected? Or coincidental? Want me to open it? But you need to add some compensation. It will probably take a whole day. Guzhen said with enthusiasm. He felt challenged. And he liked it. "No. I don't think I need it. Besides, if that file is protected heavily while the other files are not, it must probably connect it to a bigger party. And I don't need an additional problem. I think these files are enough." Xiong-ji felt there was something more behind that file. That if she peered into it, she might be in trouble for the rest of her life. Besides, she thought it doesn't have anything to do with the evidence she needed. So for now, let it pass. Little did she know, that far in the future she would return to this situation and had no choice but to open the file. A/N. And that is in the future. Don't get too excited. XD joke. Be excited, winky face. RR. LOL, *****.